so you've been in the affiliate world, Dimitri. So I think it's safe to say that you have been banned on some platform before, whether it's
Yeah, as a matter
Google
of
or
fact,
Facebook. Yeah.
it's kind of even unfair because most people had some time and some ad spend before they get banned. My personal Facebook account got banned within a day. Hello and welcome to the amazing marketing show where we talk about all things marketing, good marketing, bad marketing, marketing oversight, something we'll touch on today. This is going to be a really cool episode. I'm Dmitry Smirnov here with Chris Gray. Chris, what's going on?
Dimitri, what up, bro?
I am looking forward to this because this episode is going to talk more than just tactical things that marketers can do. It kind of even brings me back to the affiliate world, where it's all about how do we just get more conversions, but then there's Mr. Oversight, Mr. Big Brother, that is also in the picture and often forgotten about. And a very important piece. I know there's people that probably you and I both know who ended up in Dubai because they're no longer welcome in the United States.
What? You might not say their name. I don't know if you can say their name, but I can't. I didn't. I don't know who we're talking about.
Well, just going, I don't even remember the names, quite frankly. This was a decade ago at this point, but I remember in the heyday of affiliate traffic, and everyone was doing affiliate marketing when Google Ads was still the Wild West, and not to mention Facebook, which was the wild, wild, wild West. But I remember seeing people who were especially at Affiliate Summit West, you know, those types of
Yes.
conferences, and that was in Vegas. So you had these guys with a lot of money from their affiliate traffic selling gray hat or black hat offers. They're partying in Vegas. But 6 months later at Affiliate East, they're nowhere to be found because they had to flee to Dubai
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
the extradition laws. It was like the go-to place for the affiliate criminals to get off to because of these oversight committees that actually ended up doing their jobs eventually.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, it was a unique time because there's something. I got into the affiliate game, and the crowd that I started getting around was they were more black hat, and I did at the time I didn't know much black hat stuff, and they were more black hat, and there was just something about that affiliate world that attracted a certain personality type that you had to be wary of because it was the ability to make fast money. And when there's the ability to make fast money, it typically brings in certain types of people. And those are the people that I would run into. And I don't know where they're at today. And I never made friends with lots of them because, I mean, you know how it was, dude. It was pumping, stuff with Oprah on it and Dr. Oz and this and that and all these claims. And I know there's one guy who almost had like a Ponzi scheme going on. And I know he's in jail right now. So crazy times.
No, very crazy times. And I remember there's always some pop star who was just past their prime who'd always come to perform at these affiliate Summit West, and like Sean Paul or something would be
Yeah.
there. And he had this song with Beyonce at one point, which is kind of hard to believe, but he had it was like "Baby Boy, Stay on My Mind," and so
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
very popular. And Sean Paul was up there, but obviously Beyonce wasn't up there with him, and they were playing this song, and he was singing his part, and he was singing Beyonce's part.
I
Like,
forgot about
I
that.
thought you would at least bring on some other lady, but no, he just handled it on his own. He's like, "I'll take that whole check. I'm not splitting it."
It's funny now because now it's a shadow of what it used to. Right, it used to be these big grandiose parties. I remember I went to one. They'd have these side parties. One was hosted with Tony Shea or something back when he was alive, R.I.P. And then they had like Ludacris rapping. This is post Ludacris's heyday. Whatever. You're right. It was always some pop star, some artist that was just outside their window of success, but there'd be these big old parties, and now it's nothing like that. It is a shadow of itself.
Well, just like we're probably all kind of not ever wanting to get a mail or phone call from the IRS regarding our taxes. I think the same is true when it comes to our marketing. We don't want to hear from the Advertising Standards Authority, and we don't want to hear from the SEC or something like that. And we don't want to hear from the European Union, whatever they got going on. And I think they're even more strict than in America. So definitely don't want to hear from these people. But we do have a story about someone who did hear from them. It was an influencer named Grace Beverly. She got banned for making 6 social media ads that she failed to disclose as advertisements. So I just want to get your feedback based on that headline. What do you think, and what's going on here?
Oh shit, those had to be great in my opinion. For it's one thing, and I would assume you've been in the affiliate world, Dimitri. So I think it's safe to say that you have been banned on some platform before, whether it's
Yeah, as a matter of
Google or
fact,
Facebook.
it's kind of even unfair because most people had some time and some ad spend before they get banned. My personal Facebook account got banned within a day. So
Damn.
like 10 years ago, I just put up, and it was not even it was not a black hat. It was not even gray hat. It was a regular offer. It got banned, and I haven't gotten unbanned since then. So yeah, it happened. I think everyone is a rite of passage.
I can't tell you. I really cannot tell you how many Facebook accounts I've had banned. It's got to be in the hundreds at this point. Um, Google have had some accounts banned and gotten back, but you know how the game goes. Get banned, it's whack a mole. You ban me here, I'm popping up here. Boop boop boop. Right.
Right.
So, anyways, it's one thing to be banned by the platform, but this individual, she was running ads on TikTok, running ads on advertisement, or running ads on Instagram. Sorry, and the advertisement or advertising standards of authority came in and banned her on those platforms. So that is some shit. You must have been really doing something great advertising why, and I'll tell you why I think it's great for the advertising standards, whatever, for them to come in and ban your stuff. Not the platform, but the authority came in and banned you. So my first thought is, man, you must have been doing some great ads.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing too. Is because, like you mentioned, there were these posts that were banned, and the brand that she was promoting is apparently something that she owned. Is this clothing brand or footwear brand called Tala, or whatever the pronunciation on that is, maybe Tala, depending if it's fancy European or whatever. But she owns the brand. She posts content onto social media, and she didn't disclose explicitly that it was an ad, and those posts got banned. So we are wanting to discuss, is this overreach? Is this okay? Is this necessary? Or, I mean, look, we as marketers, we got to know what the landscape is. So is this overreach?
Well, I'm gonna say yeah. Um, for me as a marketer, I'm gonna side with her. It's one thing if she is. And I'm surprised that they came in or came at her when she's selling clothes. This is usually these people usually go after somebody selling supplements of some sort, right? Whether it's erectile pills or weight loss stuff or ingestibles like that, crypto, money making schemes, information products. Those seem to get more scrutiny as they should because people can make outlandish and wild claims and wild marketing, and it's not good. But if she's out here selling clothes and doing it in a manner where and you and I talked about this, Dimitri, the best advertisement is when you don't know it's an advertisement. Um, we've talked about this, and so she is selling clothes in a fashion where people don't even know it's an advertisement. It's just content to them or entertaining to them. Well, then it's mutually beneficial. It actually helps three parties. It helps the platform. whether it's TikTok or Instagram, because now that person who's on that platform is engaging with something, they're stopping and they're watching. And that's exactly what TikTok, Instagram, Meta, whatever. So what they all want. So that's one, it helps them. Two, it's giving the person who's bored, obviously, content to consume. So they're happy because they have something to watch and consume, and so much so that they went and bought it. And it's good for the person, her Grace here, because it's her business and she's making money. This benefits all three parties. So in this situation, I think it's overreach. Now, my opinion would change if Grace was selling like, snake oil. That's something different. But this is clothes. People get value out of it. I think it's overreach. What are your thoughts?
I think snake oil is a slippery slope because who is determining whether or not it's snake oil? Someone can say it works, but they don't have third party testing or whatever. So, what's the line necessarily of what is considered snake oil or not? And I do have an opinion on this, which I want to share, but I first want to touch and linger a little bit on what you were saying about what a good ad really is. And there's so many things that can go into a good ad, but ultimately is, well, does somebody watch it? But when they're watching it, do they know if it's an ad or not? If they know it's an ad, you didn't quite hit the target. If they don't know it's an ad, they think it's organic content, then that's the most powerful type of advertising. And I think that's why we've had this growth of influencer marketing, not just because it's become available because of social media platforms, but people don't like ads. People don't like searching on Google and clicking on an ad. There's so many people that I know, including myself, even though I'm a Google Ads expert and company and we do all Google ad stuff, but all the time I'll scroll down immediately past the ads without even oftentimes looking at them. It's like kind of that, those people that put salt on their food without trying. Like I just skip past the top without trying because
Right.
I'm weary of ads. Everyone's weary of ads. And so here's my take on this. I actually may be on the side of the ASA in this case. Now, first I'm going to read what they claim that they do. They say that we respond to concerns and complaints from customers and businesses to take action to ban ads which are misleading, harmful, offensive, or irresponsible. And they also monitor ads themselves, not just complaints. So all of this, slippery slopes are all around us. So who's to say what's harmful or offensive or irresponsible? I saw this or read this amazing quote from, oh man, who was it? It's like someone like Ricky Gervais, who's hilarious, obviously, and breaks all the rules. But he said, or somebody said, it might have been him, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
Yes.
Maybe it's Steve Sims. It's like one of those British guys. They're kind of similar. So is one of those guys, I think. So it is a slippery slope. However, we know that people buy when they believe that somebody is being when someone's authentically reviewing a product. When we look on Amazon, we're like, oh man, these are probably fake reviews. Or and nowadays on Amazon, you see this user was compensated with a free product for this review, and I'm like, immediately write that review off. We're all in pursuit of finding genuine reviews. And even though this lady owns this brand, that in itself is actually a very good indication that she's going to be biased and it's not going to be a fair review. And I think it's actually fair to say that she should disclose that it's an ad. She doesn't have to change the ad, but in her caption, I think that like hashtag ad is actually proper because it's not a genuine review, like an authentic, I'm some normal person who bought this product and here's my authentic review of it. No, it's not that. So I think I'm on the ASA side in this case.
And that is a good point. And I still lean to, I don't think she'd have to disclose that. I think that um, our intuition nowadays, there's so much UGC happening, and I think it's actually going to take away from that advertising medium because it now, I mean, whether you're on Amazon and you're scrolling through and you go, you'll look at a product and you'll see somebody reviewing the product in their video, and you could tell that this is somebody who was paid or they are just biased towards it. And at least for me and a couple people I know, when they're going through TikTok or Instagram or Facebook and they're seeing some of these reviews, you can tell when somebody has an agenda. You could just pick up on it, right? Um, my thing is, this is a game. And if somebody is skilled enough to present something to you to where you stop and watch and you're like, man, I like this person and I like what they have to say. And then you buy into them and you buy, and it's not harming you in any form or fashion. I don't see the harm. No harm, no foul. I praise that marketer for their ability to do that. This is marketing. This is a skill. And so their skill was sharp enough to bypass your bullshit detector, entertain you, and get you to buy something. And as long as it's not something that is harming you or does not do what it claimed it would do, I do see the harm in this. I think that this whatever advertising standards authority, I see what they're trying to do, but I also think that in doing that, you take away from the game and actually do that buyer a disservice because now you're taking content off the market that they obviously liked.
Yeah, I think I mean I'm going to disagree with you still here because the you don't have to get rid of the content. You can keep the content. You can keep that brilliant ad that was made. It still exists, but you're just disclosing in a discreet, fairly discreet way that it is an advertisement because in this case, it's harmless. Most likely, it's a footwear brand. Okay, so you buy some shoes or whatever, and it doesn't. It's not all that you thought it would be, and okay, well, they're shoes or whatever this brand is. Maybe it's clothing. Whatever you can always return it too, but I think that it's important for where we get to more gray hat potential. It's and that I think this type of regulation is important. Still have the ads, still make them where you can immerse someone into your advertisement, where they think this is organic, this is authentic. But when there is a conflict of interest, I believe there is a conflict of interest here, and especially with influencers these days. I mean, you have people who have millions of followers, they have influence in the world, and they can sway people one way or the other with a single post. But when it's not swaying someone based on their authentic reaction to a certain product, it's more, I'm going to sway people because this is going to pad my wallet. It does become a conflict of interest. So that's where I think I actually really think that this is an important thing to do, to disclose your conflict of interest effectively in a discreet way by just saying hashtag ad. And that way you protect the consumer from the influencers that they might worship. And you protect even the influencer from maybe taking things too far and selling whatever to their followers just because they're going to make more money from it.
I see that point. I feel that disclosing takes away from the experience. Again, I know I've said it 50 times. I'll continue to say it. Continue to say it. If it's a product that is BS, okay, completely get it. Like whatever, completely understand all that. But in this case, let's say it's clothing or footwear, and they had a hard day at work or they're bored or whatever, and they go online and they see her and she entertains them to the point where they want to go buy this product. Um, Again, I think that all parties have won in that situation. She gave this person something. To me, it would be like, and this is an extreme example, but we people go to movies to check out of the real world, to go there, and it's whether they're cognizant of it or not, it's a form of meditation. It's a hypnosis. You were there and you were checked out and you were into a new world all of a sudden, right? Let's say it was back in the day, Lord of the Rings or something. You're sitting there and you're watching this Lord of the Rings. You're in this new world. It's all good. And let's say the movie stops all of a sudden. And then this person comes in and is like, hey, I need to remind you that you're watching a movie. And then the movie happens again. It takes you out of the world. It takes you out of the entertainment. It takes you from all of this. It breaks it. It could taint the experience. So now here you are watching this UGC lady do this thing and present this, that, and you're like, oh man, oh hey guys, this is an ad. Then it can taint that. It could taint what she was doing. It messes up the art. And so I can see why they're doing this. And I can see when it's applicable and why it could be important. And I also think that by doing this in situations, in this specific situation, it could ruin the experience for the buyer.
Yeah, the buyer's experience certainly does take a hit in this case. There's no question about that. Like that's a pretty funny analogy that you painted in regarding the movie, just in the middle of it. Pause. You are watching a movie. Yeah, that would ruin it. Certainly, certainly. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to stick to my guns here, and it sounds like we're going to have to agree to disagree. But again, in this case, it is a footwear brand, whatever. But we're going to have to have a same. We should have the same standard for all advertisers. And who's to say what is snake oil or not? And I want to know, is the Amazon review from someone who bought it with their cash and genuinely reviewing this product, or did they get some kind of free product and they're reviewing it, or is this a fake review altogether? So to me, these influencer ads where they're promoting their own brand, they certainly can be genuine, but I want to know what their interest is in that brand, because I would discount an influencer advertising their own brand versus a third party advertising that brand who who doesn't have a vested stake in it. I value that review much more. I think most customers do.
Yeah, and I would agree. I agree with that. I think I would, and I also think again, you said it. We agree to disagree. It just ruins for me. It ruins the experience. Um, so yeah. I mean, I'll be saying the same point over and over again, but I don't. I think in this specific case, it's overreach. I think that if TikTok and Instagram were letting it run, then who is the advertising standards of authority to come in there and say, "No, this is crap" or whatever? Especially if she's selling footwear or clothing or something.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, my personal values are kind of the don't tread on me, and so oversight is a negative thing. The problem with this kind of is a whole separate topic, but like when you already have an existing government structure, especially one like we have in the US where there is so much oversight already, and then not adding more oversight can sometimes be actually counterintuitive to my stance, but like in some cases it is necessary. And TikTok and Instagram, they have their own uh, interest in what they ban, why they ban things, and so it may not always be in the interest of the consumer. So I do want to switch gears a little bit and talk about actually creating ads like this one, where it's organic hidden in an ad hidden in an organic. It's an immersive experience. People get lost in it. It could be a 30-second ad, but just like you were saying, in a movie, when it's truly done right, you don't know you're watching a movie. You're in there. You're experiencing that. So how do we help other marketers? How do we help our fellow marketers create ads that appear to be organic content?
That's this doesn't answer your question directly, but I wouldn't be here talking to you if I was so um if I made it obvious that the stuff I ran was ads. My most successful campaigns ever, it could say advertisement at the top. Like let's say it's an advertorial. It might say advertorial really small at the very top, but people would some people would see that, most wouldn't, and they'd go through and it's just like another article or something. The best advertising is when people don't know it's advertising. Like we said, there was who was that one guy? He was a right wing dude. He wasn't Rush Limbaugh, but he was an older guy. He doesn't have a show anymore. I forget his name. Oh man, he's really popular too. He was really really popular.
Maybe Glenn Beck,
Yeah, but he doesn't. No, he's older than Glenn Beck, and again,
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly. So I remember my father-in-law again. My father-in-law, he's my avatar for the Trump supporter, the Southern Trump supporter. And he sent me this email. He's like, "Hey, I want you to take a look at this. I'm thinking about investing in this." And it was Bill O'Reilly interviewing this guy. And it was like podcast slash interview. But if you really paid attention to what was happening, this was an advertisement. This was an infomercial disguised as an interview, and it done so good that my father in law wanted me to watch it to see if I need to invest in it as well. And I told my father in law at the time, this is what I do. Things like this. This is an advertisement. It's an infomercial disguised. This is happening. Larry King did it. You'll not, you've heard about this. People will have these podcasts now. These podcasts, it looks like it's a podcast. Really, it's a video sales letter. It's an infomercial. And so you're coming after Grace for what she's doing here, but this shit's happening all over the world. It's happening at higher levels than Grace, and it's negatively impacting a lot of people. And in some ways, I'm sure it's positively impacting. But somebody might have spent, I don't know, $50 to $100, $200 on some clothing and whatever. Here, you'll have somebody who'll spend their whole life savings on gold from some infomercial that they watched. And so this is how it is. Does it need to be regulated? Yeah, that's why the ASA is around. But I guess going back to the specific thing, I think that I know this wasn't the question you asked me, but I think Grace in the landscape of all this shit happening is a very small fish in a massive pond. Now, to your question, how do we do this? It's very contextual and depends on what you do. In my case, let's say it's a seasoning business. It's in the form of writing. One effective way to do this is an advertorial. It's an advertorial. Well, it looks like an article, right? It looks like a regular article, but it's really an advertisement. And you'll see this in native advertising, whether you're going through Yahoo or Fox News or MSN. You'll be scrolling, and then there's an ad. It looks like everything else. It might have sponsored and really small, but it looks like everything else. And really, that's an advertorial. You click on it, and they read it, and they think that they're reading an article, but really, it's an ad. That's a very basic one, but it's still effective when well written. That's one way. What's another way that you think could be effective for people?
Well, I'll answer that in a second. I want to come back to what you were talking about with Bill O'Reilly and even the advertorials. The advertorial language was not required until at some point it became required because people were taking advantage of it. I think it comes back to the argument we're having at the beginning is people need to, same with Bill O'Reilly, but people need to know. I think people need to know. And again, you're right. This is small fish that they did with Grace. They should do this across the board as much as possible. But there's some decision the society made that we now need to label advertorials as such. We should label these influencer promotions as such. We need to label the interviews disguised, advertisements disguised as interviews as such because of exactly the case that you mentioned with your father-in-law. I bet if he knew it was an advertisement, he would look at it differently. And yes, it would hurt. It would not make the advertisement as effective. I agree, certainly. And like from a marketer's perspective, it's like give us all the leash that exists, but is that really the best thing In my opinion, not. Now, in terms of whether or not you have to label your advertisement as such, you should still try to make it seem like it's not an ad. So what can you do? I looked up Grace's posts that were banned, by the way, and
Oh,
what did she
nice.
do? What's that?
I said nice. I haven't seen them. Go ahead, please
Yeah,
finish.
so I'll just describe it for the audience. So one of these ads starts with something we've heard all the time. I've seen this all the time. Give me less than a minute to tell you why this is the best coat the world has ever seen. Great headline. Um, hits many of the check boxes. It's only going to take less than a minute. It's the best coat the world has ever seen. A little bit hyperbolic, and it's just her wearing the coat. Okay, and she's got this bleach blonde hair, so presumably attention is drawn. That doesn't seem like an aggressive headline or anything. Yes, it's a little bit hyperbolic, but it's not. It's not saying this coat will. It's not making any claims yet. Okay, as far as I can tell in this ad, that aren't real. Um, but this format is exactly what people do on TikTok, right? It's just the same exact format that when people make content, when they're trying to entertain their audience, they make a certain style of content. This seems exactly like that content. So you, as a marketer, whatever your platform is, whether it's TikTok or blogs or Google search even, you need to find out what are the top ranking videos in your industry or search results, organic search results, whatever you can, YouTube videos. What is the format of that platform and create your ad in that format. Stop creating your ad the old
Yeah.
school way of here's my product. I'm demonstrating like this is a QVC ad. No, it has to be in the style that the viral things are already happening in.
That is really good advice. What you're talking about, I've talked to you about this. We went the other business. We work with a bunch of home service contractors, and putting out if we put out content the way the normal home service contractor puts out, it would it would poop the bed. Nobody's going to stop and watch that. Nobody cares about your plumbing business, your van, your values. This like it's the same old shit, right? Same old. But to your point, what's popular on there'll be some like let's say it's TikTok. There'll be some sort of meme or something that's trending. It might even be like you've seen the guy, the Middle Eastern guy that's like, you brother, what is that? You brother. You know, like that meme or whatever. Have you seen that? Like so you take things like that and then you interject you put in your business, right? And you could say, you know, when you hire the cheapest plumber you can find, ew, brother, like you know, like whatever, like you can just take like to Dimitri's point. There's things that are trending. There's waves that are happening. So how can you take that and put in your product and ride those waves as opposed to the traditional commercial?
Yeah, 100% there. And I want to take a second and appreciate what you said about poop the bed. I thought that was excellent, excellently worded in a very family friendly language. So, um, okay, well, I think that probably covers it as far as this topic goes. So we'll stop there. Actually, before we wrap it, I just thought of this thing that happened to me the other day. So I want to share it before we sign off. Is I was browsing. I was going down that Facebook story rabbit hole. You just see you were planning on just watching the one thing, and then 15 minutes later, you're like, "Whoa, wormhole." 15 minutes later, but I realized that I scrolled past an ad, which I didn't realize at the time was an ad, because I'm looking at water filters for my house right now. We got some well water; it needs help. But these water filter companies did a great job of just creating content that looked and felt like organic content, but it was an ad. So as I was scrolling, even though I scrolled past ads, usually ads is when I'm like, usually ads are that moment that you were suggesting in a movie where someone comes up and says, this is a movie. So when I'm in that uh,
Mm,
state of scroll where I don't actually want to be, and I bet everyone can relate to that. It's when an ad pops up, that's when the guy is saying you're watching a movie, and you can, oh shoot. And the only reason that session lasted 15 minutes, the ads that I was getting served felt like organic content. So I stayed in that zone of scrolling. So I bet you these platforms are going to reward you too, because they don't want people clicking off, and they don't want advertisements that cause people to get off their platforms. So the more you can keep people on their platform, the more they're going to reward you. So again, and we both agree. I know that this is extremely powerful. So think about it for your ads, all you guys who are listening.
that's next level of stuff. It's kind of like when you see somebody performing a very difficult task with ease, whether it's a sport or an art or whatever, and they make it look easy, but you know it's difficult. That's a testament to how great that person is at what they do. And that's the thing here. If something comes up and says it's an ad, yet the people still engage with it and still watch it, it's testimonial to how great that marketer is.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Chris, always a pleasure. See you next time.
Appreciate it, Dimitri. Peace.